Welcome, Justin.
Thank you.
Now, the latest news on the airport. Firstly, you must be delighted that flights are taking off from Avalon again with the Avalon to Sydney run in December.
I sure am. It's been a long time coming. So 18th of December, Jetstar starts up, flying double daily to Sydney. Would have liked it to come forward a little bit earlier, but anyway, that's where we got to. And now we're anxiously awaiting Queensland to open up their borders, and then we'll be flying into Gold Coast, hopefully by Christmas. So.
And news on South Australia?
South Australia, I haven't heard either, but I think they will be probably, for Avalon, probably more January, February.
Oh, exciting. Now, casting our mind back to March, Avalon had flights through Jetstar to Sydney, Adelaide and the Gold Coast, plus Air Asia to Malaysia and other destinations, and Bali had just kicked off with CityLink. To get one international airline to Avalon was a major achievement, but to get a second was a huge win, and you had others in the pipeline. We were looking at further development of the international terminal and further use of the airport precinct. But how sudden did the restrictions that were enforced to manage the spread of the virus impact the airport?
Do you want me to cry? Oh dear, it was amazing. So in addition to that, we also signed up Vietjet to fly into Vietnam from the end of this year as well. So we had the best year we've ever had last year. Things were going amazingly well. I'd been overseas 3 times already. And then the first thing that happened was CityLink rang me and said, Justin, we have to reduce our numbers. I said, why? And they said, because of COVID. I go, oh, okay. And I heard of COVID, but I didn't really know what it was. It was more coronavirus back then. And then they pulled out altogether. I said, well, something's wrong. And then Chinese got banned from coming into Australia soon after. And then we saw a decline in our domestic because of that. So domestic Chinese tourism is big. So Jetstar started reducing flights, then Air Asia's numbers dropped like unbelievably because they take a lot of Chinese. Then the next thing that happened was, I can't believe I remember all this, but India...
You're on the couch. It's okay.
I know, I can't fall over anymore. India banned Malaysian aircraft from going into India, and so that meant that people from Australia, we do a lot of Indians, probably about 50% of our Air Asia traffic is Indians going to India via KL, and that all stopped. So all of a sudden their numbers plummeted, but Air Asia continued to fly, and then eventually they just banned all international traffic, and then domestic just stopped as well. And so it was sudden, but it was, in hindsight it was sudden, but it wasn't really, because when you live it, it was changing every day. It was incredible. It was exciting in some ways, like it was obviously devastating, but it was exciting. So yeah, it happened probably over the course of about 3 or 4 weeks, but every day there'd be a change. Every day we get a notice that these people can't leave the country or they won't be let into Malaysia. Then it was just, yeah.
What did it mean for your staff at the airport? Because you run pretty nimble there.
We do. It's funny, we have about 35 permanents and about 47 casuals, and that's mainly in retail. At the start, I made the commitment that we would keep on as many people as we possibly could. JobKeeper was amazing, it really did help. And so we were very smart, I thought, and that's probably the thing I'm most proud of, is the way we handled our people. So a lot of the casuals we redeployed elsewhere. So we suspended our cleaning contractor, which is a risk during COVID, but we trained them up. And the cleaning contractor was amazing, I must say. They came in, they trained our staff to be cleaners. And so we replaced our cleaning contractor with staff. And then we suspended our security, mainly, not all of it, but most of our security that we could. And we redeployed our staff doing security as well. We outsourced a lot of our staff. So, as you know, Qantas and Jetstar parked 40 aircraft at Avalon, so we used our staff for that. And we also redeployed them. So Department of Defence have got a hangar at Avalon, and they needed 20 people. So we said, well, here's 20 people, and it made us recover our costs. And that was quite good, actually, because we were able to get the JobKeeper as well as recover the cost of the thing. So it actually worked for us very well.
Fantastic. What a lot of people don't know is at Avalon Airport, you've got a precinct there. So the precinct was used for other purposes as well and was growing amidst the crisis. Was that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So we're very fortunate that we've got probably half of our business is the property and the other half's aviation. So obviously the aviation just died, and then the property really stayed strong. Our tenants a lot of them are government, one of them's big is Cotton On, and they were very solid during the COVID crisis. So that went really, really well. yeah, so the other opportunities I think came along with obviously the parking. That happened really, really quickly, and I was a bit shocked. I thought, whoa, are they overreacting here? But no, they had a lot of vision to do that. And other opportunities too, just to deploy staff is the big thing. So, but for a long time, this is my uniform. You know, I was very casual, and everyone had to start working from home, but I went to work most days, and
would have been different walking the corridors of an empty airport.
I think the most depressing thing, there's two things that really are depressing. One is looking at the car park, where the majority of our revenue comes from in terms of aeronautical. And so that was really tough. You know, even now, you look at our car park, it's pretty much empty. It's not totally empty, but it's pretty much. And also those aircraft. When I remember the first aircraft that came in, it was a Qantas 737. And it was a Friday night, and we, all of our staff hung around and were watching this plane coming in. So how exciting, Qantas is coming. And it came in, and it was almost sad, you know, to see it roll up, knowing that it wasn't going to fly for many months. And it was the first of 40 we knew, and you know, there was so much uncertainty in the industry, and we knew that one of those planes probably represented around about 1,000 jobs. So it's you know, it was funny just how it turned.
And as we were leading up to today, you mentioned you had so many different scenarios, contingencies, and you were talking about the domestic roadmap to recovery and how many incarnations you had of that. Are you able to shed some more light on some of those contingencies and scenarios that you have been mapping out? Because we now are emerging, and some of them may be playing out as we speak.
Sure, absolutely. So we have a roadmap to recovery, which is access to all of our managers, and they can update it. And we have a meeting on it probably 2 or 3 times a week at the moment. But I was updating it just before I came here, and it's being updated every day. We've got certain scenarios, so I'm forgetting about international for now and just focusing on domestic. And you know, if we have 2 to 3 flights returning, which we are, we trigger certain things. Certain things like which cafes do we open, how do we roster staff, what staff do we bring back from standing down staff that we have, how do we run security, how much marketing do we do. All of those things have been activated now that we know we've got two flights. And then we suspect that we'll probably have 5 flights, I reckon, in January. And so we've got another trigger, and more things will open. Even menus, you know, menus will get broader, those sorts of things.
In the return, obviously the health, safety and well-being of your staff is of utmost importance, but it's also of the passengers that are going to be returning. So what are some of the initiatives that the airport has done there?
So massive. So if you come and have a look at the airport now, it's just changed.
We won't recognise it?
You won't. I recognise it, but I don't think you will. It's so basically the days of checking in to somebody behind a desk have gone. So that no longer exists, and we've got kiosks. And we've got the first kiosk in Australia, and perhaps even the world, I'll say the world for today, that you can actually not touch the kiosk. So we had a lot of good press about this recently. So basically, you stare at the kiosk and you stare at the button you want to pick. And it actually determines by your head movement and where your eyes are looking whether or not which key to press. Not sure how you go if you're cross-eyed, but I haven't tried that yet. But no, you can actually touch it if you need to.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's touchless technology. And then when you've checked in your bag, you'll print out your bag ticket, you take it, put it around your bag, and then you take it yourself over to the auto bag drop, which again is touchless, and it reads the tag you've just put on your bag and takes it away. So there's no interaction with anybody unless you need it. There'll be still people there. So that just means that if you are concerned about touching things, you don't need to at all. The other thing we've done is that is special to what other people aren't doing is we've introduced what they call CT X-rays in our domestic. And basically what that means is when you go through your screening for security, firstly, you don't have to take your laptop out of your bag, so you can just put your bag on as it is, so everything can stay in there. So it means there's less congestion around that area. It goes through the X-ray, and the X-ray guy operating it doesn't need to open your bag because it's 3D, so he can actually remove visually on his computer, remove things out of your bag and check things around it.
Wow.
And if there's things in there, then obviously you need to open it. And the other thing we've done is we've got a body scanner so that it's not like your traditional metal detector. And that means that if you can go through there, and most people can, but if you've got a pacemaker you can't, if you're a young child you can't, but if you can go through there, it means you won't get pulled over to get the swab, which is, the thing that normally happens.
Now, you cited some initiatives the airport is addressing.
I think it's probably, firstly, I think culture will be the big one, because we've been a very relaxed airport for a long time. We've been very fortunate that we're a little bit smaller and everybody knows everybody. But we've got certain procedures now that we need to follow, and like QR coding and all those things. For example, in the lounge, you no longer will be able to see people off. You'll only be able to go to the check-in, and then anyone who's a meet or greeter will be able to will have to leave. So being able to make sure that our staff are prepared to, use those, follow those proper procedures, wear a mask, even if they drop the requirement for masks, our staff will still have masks. Making sure they sanitise their hands, doing all those things will be, I think, a change exercise for us big time.
Bit of a team bonding experience as well.
Absolutely.
This is the new way of working.
It is. So, but the organisation has changed dramatically, but I don't think that I want to change too much, because we've got a pretty good culture, but it's just about managing and making sure that they're COVID ready.
And still making flying easy, just in a COVID safe manner.
No, I'm excited. I'm probably wish it happened, by the 23rd of November when the borders open, and but I am excited that we'll see aircraft back. I'd like to see more. I mean, I think that's just in my nature. Even when I got AirAsia, I was thinking, well, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? You never really enjoy it. But yeah, I'm excited. I was excited when we announced the flights. I'm excited now by some of the marketing that we've been doing. We're doing some really exciting competitions to promote the thing. But exciting. I'm probably just I'm impatient.
You want it now.
I want it now.
Well, we wish you all the best, and we really appreciate you sharing today.
No, thanks very much.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.